Let us start chemistry. In chemistry, we'll start electrochemistry. In electrochemistry, we are discussing about conductometric titrations. In electrochemistry, we are discussing about conductometric titrations. In conductometric titrations, we have taken strong acid versus strong base titration. Strong acid versus strong base titration we will take. In the strong acid versus strong base titration, HCl versus sodium hydroxide. HCl solution versus sodium hydroxide solution. HCl versus sodium hydroxide solution. That titration we will do it. That titration. Now we will go for a graph. In the graph we will take a lambda m, molar conductivity in one axis, and volume of sodium hydroxide solution added. Volume of sodium hydroxide solution added in another axis. Volume of sodium hydroxide solution added in another axis we will take. We will draw a graph. We are drawing a graph. How we will get, we will see. In the flask, we will take HCl solution. In the burette, we will take a sodium hydroxide solution. We are drawing the graph. First, initially, volume of sodium hydroxide added is 0. The flask contains only HCl solution that has some lambda m. That has some lambda m, molar conductivity. If you go on add, and you are adding this much sodium hydroxide, now you are seeing molar conductivity is this much, becoming less when compared to previous. You are adding sodium hydroxide, molar conductivity is this much. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, molar conductivity is this much. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, molar conductivity is this much. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, molar conductivity this much. Some more sodium hydroxide you are adding, molar conductivity you are getting like this. So we have done experiment. From the experiment we got a graph like this. Now let us join the points. Let us join all the points. Let us join. Okay, now let us join all the points. We are joining the points. Sorry, we are joining all the points. Okay, all the points we joined. Sorry. Now we got a graph. We got a graph like this. We got a graph in this way. We got a graph. This is for what titration? Which titration? Strong acid versus strong base titration. What is the strong acid? HCl. What is the strong base? NaOH. Which you are taking in the burette? Sodium hydroxide solution you are taking in the burette. Which you are taking in the flask? HCl solution. Sorry. What you are measuring for using conductivity cell? From conductivity cell we are getting molar conductivity. Sorry. We got a molar conductivity like this. Initially what happens means on adding sodium hydroxide solution continuously, initially lambda m goes on decreasing, then onwards goes on increasing. Like this graph we got. Sorry, okay. Now for what purpose we are doing this titration? In order to say, in order to find the unknown term. So to find the unknown term, what we will get, what we are getting from this graph? Equivalence point. So we are getting equivalence point from this graph. If you know the equivalence point, then we can say when reaction will be completely over. Sorry, at which point reaction will be completely over, from this graph we will get. Sorry, suppose equivalence point is this. It is the equivalence point. If we say it is the equivalence point, then we can say this much. This is the volume of sodium hydroxide solution required for complete reaction. If you know volume of sodium hydroxide solution required for complete reaction, then we can say we can find the unknown term. We can find it. Sir, that means we want equivalence point. For that case only we came for this graph. We came for this graph. We have done this experiment. Okay. Now equivalence point we want. Equivalence point means a complete reaction takes place. For this case, we have to come for an idea that now initially you are going on adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m goes on decreasing. Why lambda m goes on decreasing? Because H plus of HCl is replaced by Na plus of sodium hydroxide. So H plus is having higher lambda m, Na plus is having lower lambda m. Since H plus is replaced by Na plus, lambda m goes on decreasing. Okay. So on adding sodium hydroxide solution continuously, lambda m goes on decreasing. This is possible when till the equivalence point. Because till the equivalence point HCl will be there. H plus ions will be there. once equilibrium is once equivalence point is reached, all the HCl is completely reacted. At equivalence point, no more HCl. No more HCl in the sense all the HCl is reacted. So after the equivalence point, whatever the addition of sodium hydroxide, that will be remain same as it is in the solution. That will not go for reaction because there is no HCl. So added sodium hydroxide present as it is in the solution means sodium hydroxide will exist as Na plus and OH minus ions. They will have lambda m. So the added sodium hydroxide present as Na plus ions and OH minus ions in the sense number of moles of ions increases, therefore lambda m increases. Lambda m increases. So think that first in the beginning you are adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m decreases. Why is it so? First you have taken HCl solution in the vessel. So on adding sodium hydroxide, HCl is reacting with the sodium hydroxide. H plus and H plus of HCl is replaced by Na plus of sodium hydroxide. Therefore lambda m decreases. Once equivalence point is reached, at equivalence point there is no more HCl. All the HCl is completely reacted. Once equivalence point is reached, further addition of sodium hydroxide will not go for any further reaction because there is no more HCl. So the added sodium hydroxide will be present in the solution as it is. As it is in the form of Na plus and OH minus ions, they will contribute conductivity. Therefore, what happens to the lambda m means increases. So where lambda m will be least value, think it. Where lambda m will be least value in this titration. Lambda m will be least value at which point you think it. That means lambda m will be least value initially or finally or at equivalence point or before the equivalence point towards left or after the equivalence point towards right. You think it. So lambda m molar conductivity will be least at which point in the sense at equivalence point. Before equivalence point lambda m is high. After equivalence point also lambda m is high. So we want lambda m, we want equivalence point. Equivalence point means that will be minimum value, minimum lambda m. So how to get that minimum lambda m? By extrapolating the graph, by extrapolating the curves. So now let us extrapolate the curve. Okay. Now we are extrapolating this curve. We are extrapolating this curve. Okay. Then let us extrapolate this curve. Let us extrapolate this curve. Okay, we have extrapolated the curve. Sir, we have extrapolated the curve. We got this point. What is this point you think? What is that point you think it? That point is a now the one student asking that equivalence can be said as saturation point. No, we cannot say. Saturation and equivalence are entirely different. Saturation and equivalence are entirely different. So we cannot say equivalence means a saturation point like that. We cannot say. Okay, saturation in the sense that point it will not come here. Equivalence and saturation will not be there. They are not having any relation. Sir, okay. Now we will come for this point. At this point you see, before this point you see lambda m is high. After this point you see lambda m is low. At this point you see lambda m is minimum. So this point is called what? Do you feel? This point is called what? This point is called what? What is this point? What is this point? Do you think? What is this point? Do you think? Do you think what is this point? This is at this point. This point is called what? What this point is called what? What do you feel? Do you feel that this point is having any word? This point is having any significance? This point is having any significance? Do you feel? Sir, now you are saying that this point is called equivalence point. Sir, okay. Now we came to know that equivalence point means what? We came to know that. Sorry, we came to know that that point is called equivalence point. Sir, what is the use of equivalence point that we will discuss? If you know the equivalence point means at this point reaction is completely over. That means This is the volume of sodium hydroxide. This is the volume of sodium hydroxide solution required for complete reaction. So what is the volume of sodium hydroxide solution required for complete reaction means this is the volume of sodium hydroxide solution required for complete reaction. So we know that burette reading. If you know burette reading, then we can go for a unknown value. We can find unknown value. Sorry, okay. That means using this conductometric titration, we are getting equivalence point, but using this indicator titration means we are doing in the laboratory titration we are doing. For doing titration, we are using indicator. For you when you use indicator, what point we will get means mostly n point only we will get. We will not get equivalence point. But in conductometric titration, we are getting equivalence point. Therefore, conductometric titration gives more accuracy when compared with titration on using indicator. Sorry. So in conductometric titration, we have seen strong acid versus strong base titration. We have seen. Now let us go for a next titration, that is called weak acid versus strong base titration. We'll see. Weak acid versus strong base titration. That point we'll see. Okay. Now we are taking weak acid versus strong base titration. Weak acid versus strong base titration will take. Weak acid is acetic acid. Weak acid is acetic acid solution will take. Strong base is sodium hydroxide solution will take. Strong base is sodium hydroxide solution. Let us take acetic acid in a vessel. Let us take acetic acid solution in a vessel and sodium hydroxide solution in the burette. Sodium hydroxide solution in the burette we are taking. Sir. Now we will place a conductivity cell here. We are placing conductivity cell here. Conductivity cell we are placing here. Conductivity cell is placed here. Initially this beaker contains, this contains acetic acid solution. Acetic acid is a weak acid. It undergoes partial ionization to give acetate ion and H plus ions. Okay. Initially solution contains what we have seen. So initially in the flask, initially in the vessel, what is there means acetic acid solution is there. So acetic acid solution is undergoing ionization to give what means acetate ion and H plus ions. Acetate ions and H plus ions. Okay. Now these ions are contributing conductivity. It is contributing conductivity. It is contributing conductivity. So lambda m of solution, lambda m of this solution, lambda m of this solution is nothing but lambda m of this contribution and lambda m of this contribution. So from these two contributions, we can find the lambda m of this solution. Said okay. This solution is having certain lambda m. This solution is having certain lambda m. This lambda m, if we compare with the strong acid will have high, weak acid will have low. Sir. Why weak acid is having lower value when compared to strong acid means it undergoing partial ionization, so number of ions will be less here. Sir. So we got initially what is the lambda m of acetic acid? What is the lambda m of acetic acid we got? Sir. Okay. Next we will add burette solution. We will add. Let us add sodium hydroxide solution. Sodium hydroxide solution we are adding from burette to this vessel. So what happens means chemical reaction takes place. Acetic acid is reacting with the sodium hydroxide. Acetic acid reacting with the sodium hydroxide to give salt and water. To give salt and water. Since it is salt, it undergoes complete ionization. So it gives what means acetate ion and Na plus ion. It is salt, it is a strong electrolyte. Mostly salts are strong electrolyte. So it is strong electrolyte. It undergoes a higher extent of ionization. Therefore, ions are there. It is a strong base. Of course, it has reacted completely. It has reacted completely. Before equivalence point means all the sodium hydroxide will be reacting completely. Okay. It is weak acid. You know that it is undergoing partial ionization. Sorry. Okay. How much weak acid reacted in the sense equivalent of sodium hydroxide. Sorry. Now let us think here. Initially you see the number of ions. You see the number of moles of ions. Initially in this vessel you have taken acetic acid solution. You see the number of moles of ions. Sorry. You are adding sodium hydroxide solution into this certain volume of sodium hydroxide solution you are adding into this. So chemical reaction takes place. After the chemical reaction, what are the ions will be there means it is a salt, it is strong electrolyte, so it undergoes higher extent of ionization. So sodium ions will be there, certain number of sodium ions, certain number of acetate ions will be there. Remaining weak acid will be there, it is undergoing partial ionization, so it is also giving some amount of acetate ions and H plus ions. Now think properly. After adding sodium hydroxide, which are contributing ions to the solution means sodium acetate contributing ions to the solution. Even remaining weak acid also contributing certain magnitude of ions to the solution. Certain magnitude of ions to the solution. Of course, it is a weak acid. So it undergoes partial ionization. Remaining weak acid undergoing partial ionization. So think that initially how the ions will be there, you see. Initially how the ions will be there, see. Number of moles of ions you see initially. After adding sodium hydroxide, you see the number of moles of ions. Do you feel number of moles of ions remain same initially as well as after adding sodium hydroxide solution? Or do you feel different? You think it. If you feel different, where number of moles of ions are more, you say. In initially number of moles of ions are more, or after adding sodium hydroxide solution number of moles of ions are more. You think it. If you feel difference is there means lambda m also different, molar conductivity also different. So molar conductivity is different means here molar conductivity will be more or here molar conductivity will be more. Or in what way you are thinking? You see that. You say that. So finally do you say molar conductivity will be higher or molar conductivity will be higher? What do you say? How the molar conductivity will be there initially? How the molar conductivity will be there after adding sodium hydroxide solution? Do you feel same or different? If you feel different, where it is high? That means in the second molar conductivity will be high or in the first molar conductivity will be high. Said okay. So one student says that initially molar conductivity will be high. Another student says in the second molar conductivity will be high. Said okay. Now, so one student said initially molar conductivity will be high. One student said, "Sir, we will check then. We will check when molar conductivity will be high. That point we will see." So think that initially in this vessel only acetic acid solution is there. Initially in this vessel only acetic acid solution is there. This acetic acid undergoing partial ionization to give acetate ion and H plus ions. That means in this vessel what are the substances are there initially means some number of H plus ions, some number of acetate ions, some number of undissociated acetic acid molecules. Some number of undissociated acetic acid molecules will be there. Sorry, okay. So now we will see this one mathematically we will see. Mathematically we will see. Suppose we are taking a 0.1 molar acetic acid solution. 0.1 molar acetic acid solution we are taking, it is 1 liter we have taken. Now acetic acid undergoing ionization. Acetic acid undergoing ionization to give what means acetate ion, to give acetate ion and H plus ions. Now initially if we see, initially what is the moles of acetic acid we will see. To say the number of moles, let us multiply this volume and molarity. Multiply this volume of solution and molarity, you will get number of moles. Number of moles is how much means 0.1 mole. 0.1 mole of acetic acid you have taken. It is undergoing dissociation. Acetic acid is undergoing dissociation. It undergoes dissociation X moles because it is weak acid. It will not undergo complete dissociation. So at equilibrium, how much acetic acid is there means 0.1 minus X moles will be there. So acetate ions how much will be there means you are adding X moles of acetic acid, therefore it is undergoing X moles of acetic acid undergoing dissociation. So you are getting X moles of acetate ions and X moles of H plus ions. X moles of H plus ions. Now we will see Ka. Ka is called acid dissociation constant. Acid dissociation constant is equal to, in the numerator what you have to write means right side you have to write as the numerator. Right side what is there means acetate ion acetate ion concentration into H plus ion concentration. In the denominator, you have to write acetic acid concentration. Sorry. What is a Ka for a acetic acid means roughly 1.8 into 10 to the power of minus 5. Ka, acid dissociation constant for acetic acid is 1.8 into 10 power minus 5. It is equal to concentration of acetate ion means x moles by 1 liter. It is 1 liter, volume is 1 liter. Into H plus concentration means x moles by 1 liter. Then acetic acid concentration means 0.1 minus x by 1 liter. Sir, it is 1. This is 1. Sir. Now we will write 1.8 into 10 to the power of minus 5 is the Ka value, which is equal to x square by, now what about 0.1 minus x we have to see. This 0.1 minus x shall we write as 0.1 or 0.1 minus x as it is we have to see. Now the equilibrium constant, Ka is called equilibrium constant is 10 power minus 5. Equilibrium constant is 10 power minus 5 means this equilibrium is almost towards backward, because 10 power minus 5 means a very low value. 10 power minus 5 means this equilibrium lies almost left. 10 power minus 5 means equilibrium constant is low. It is low in the sense this magnitude is high, this magnitude is low. Therefore, this equilibrium lies almost left. So 0.1 minus x is taken nearly as 0.1. We cannot take in all the cases. Okay. In this case, we have taken. Suppose it is given instead of 0.1, it is given 0.001. Then we cannot neglect x. So don't neglect x in all the cases. Okay. So we are getting now this we will take nearly as x square is nearly is equal to 10 to the power of minus 6 we will take. So x is equal to how much means 10 to the power of minus 3 molar. X is equal to how much means 10 to the power of minus 3 molar. Therefore, we can come to an idea that it is how much means 10 power minus 3 moles. 10 power minus 3 moles. It is how much means 10 power minus 3 moles. 10 power minus 3 moles. It is how much means undissociated is nearly 0.1 mole. Okay, undissociated is nearly 0.1 mole. So here they see this point. Now at equilibrium, what is there means 10 power minus 3 moles of H plus ions are there, 10 power minus 3 moles of acetate ions are there, 0.1 moles of acetic acid is there, 10 power minus 1 moles of acetic acid is there. Sir, okay. So like this it is present. So we this now we will go for this acetic acid is taken in a vessel to this dip a conductivity cell. Conductivity cell shows conductance shown by this solution. So in this solution, which will carry current means these ions are carrying current, these ions are carrying current, these ions are carrying current. Okay. So in this solution, which are carrying current means these ions and these ions are carrying current. It is also carrying current, but undissociated in the sense that will be less when compared to ions. Therefore, we will consider ions. So that we can say in this solution, these ions are carrying current and these ions are carrying current. Sorry, okay. So how many ions are carrying current in the sense 10 power minus 6 moles are contributing current carrying tendency. So these ions are contributing towards current conductivity. Sir, okay. Now let us add sodium hydroxide into this. Let us add sodium hydroxide solution into this. Okay, we are adding sodium hydroxide solution into this. Okay. Now what are the things we have taken in the sense 0.1 molar, 0.1 molar. So acetic acid solution, 0.1 molar acetic acid solution we have taken, 1 liter we have taken. Sorry. To this, let us add. We are adding how much means we are adding sodium hydroxide. Suppose 0.01 mole of sodium hydroxide we are adding. 0.01 mole of sodium hydroxide solution we added. So what happens means reaction is taking place. Reaction is acetic acid reacting with the sodium hydroxide to give sodium acetate and water. Sodium acetate and water. Sir, acetic acid how much is there means multiply this 0.1 molar and volume 1 liter. multiply this 0.1 molar and this 1 liter, you multiply number of moles of acetic acid you will get, that is how much means 0.1 mole of acetic acid. How much sodium hydroxide you added means 0.01 mole of sodium acetic hydroxide you added. Sodium hydroxide reacting completely, so remaining sodium hydroxide 0. How much acetic acid reacting means 0.01 mole is reacting. How much is remaining means this much is remaining. This many moles of acetic acid is remaining. How much sodium acetate is formed in the sense this many moles of sodium acetate is formed. This now resultant solution contains this acetic acid, unreacted acetic acid and sodium acetate. Sodium hydroxide not there. Now it is undergoing dissociation, therefore it is giving acetate ion. It is giving acetate ion, how much means it gives 0.01 mole, that means 10 power minus 2 moles. And it gives sodium ions how much means 10 to the power of minus 2 moles. Okay, why we have taken complete dissociation means sodium acetate is a strong electrolyte, it is having higher degree of dissociation, so we have gone for an assumption it is going for complete ionization. Sorry, okay, like this idea we got. Sorry, okay. Next, this is weak acid. This weak acid undergoes partial ionization, partial dissociation, so it is also giving ions. What are the ions means acetate ions and H plus ions. Acetate ions and H plus ions. See, this is how much means we can say roughly 9 into 10 to the power of this we can say 9 into 10 to the power of 10 to the power of minus 2. 9 into 10 to the power of minus 2 we can say it is 9 into 10 to the power of minus 2. This we can take roughly as 10 to the power of minus 1. Roughly we have taken 10 to the power of minus 1. This we can take roughly as a 10 to the power of minus 3 mole from acid dissociation constant. From equilibrium constant we can get 10 to the power of minus 3 mole. Like this we can take. Roughly we can take like this. Sir. So next point we will see. Now in this solution which are contributing conductivity we will see. Now after adding sodium hydroxide, it is a resultant solution. In the resultant solution, what are the ions are there? See, sodium ions, this many moles are there. Acetate ions, this many moles are there. H plus ions, this many moles. Acetate ions, this many moles. So after adding sodium hydroxide, it is a total number of ions. This is a sum of these is called the total number of ions. These many ions are contributing conductivity. That means conductance contribution given by these many ions. These many ions are contributing conductance. From this we can find lambda ion. So after adding sodium hydroxide solution C, after adding sodium hydroxide solution, these many ions are carrying current. Before adding sodium hydroxide, these many ions are carrying current. Before adding sodium hydroxide, these many ions are contributing towards lambda m. These many ions are carrying current. Now see, before adding sodium hydroxide, totally how many ions are there? See, 10 power minus 3 plus 10 power minus 3. That means 2 into 10 power minus 3. So before adding sodium hydroxide, number of moles of ions totally 2 into 10 power minus 3 moles. After adding sodium hydroxide, you see, see, it is 10 power minus 2. It is 10 power minus 2. 2 into 10 power minus 2. 2 into 10 power minus 3. Roughly. So totally how much is there? See. Now you think and say when number of moles of ions totally will be high, you see. Total number of ions in the solution is high in the second case or first case, you see. After adding sodium hydroxide solution, how the total number of ions are there? See, before adding sodium hydroxide solution, how the total number of moles of ions are there, you see. Then you say ions are carrying current. So how the molar conductivity will be there, you see. So molar conductivity will be more in which case? In second solution or in first solution, you think it. So molar conductivity will be high after adding sodium hydroxide solution. So after adding sodium hydroxide solution, molar conductivity is high. Sorry, okay. So if we go on add sodium hydroxide solution, molar conductivity what happens means goes on increasing. So if we go on add sodium hydroxide solution, molar conductivity increases. So okay, so we got an idea that on adding sodium hydroxide, solution continuously, what happens to the lambda m means lambda m increases. Sorry, okay. Then after certain time we will attain equivalence point. Okay. After attaining equivalence point, let us add sodium hydroxide solution. We will continue adding sodium hydroxide solution. Adding sodium hydroxide solution, we are continuing adding sodium hydroxide solution. After adding equivalence point, continue addition of sodium hydroxide. Sorry, equivalence point we reached. After equivalence point, we are adding sodium hydroxide solution. The added sodium hydroxide solution will not go for reaction. It will be as Na plus ions and OH minus ions. Na plus ions are carrying current. OH minus ions also carrying current. Among the anions, which is having higher lambda m means OH minus. Why? Because growth is conduction, as like H plus. In H plus, how we said hydrogen bonding, in the same way for OH minus also we are saying hydrogen bonding. So OH minus ions carry current through translational motion, another through hydrogen bonding. So that among the anions, OH minus is having higher lambda m as per the syllabus. Okay. So now you say that after the equivalence point, lambda m, will it increase or will it remain same or will it decrease? Okay. So after the equivalence point, what happens to the lambda m? One student says it decreases. So after the equivalence point, you are adding sodium hydroxide. The added sodium hydroxide is not going for reaction. Is not going for reaction means it is present as it is. Okay. It is a strong base. So its degree of dissociation is high. So number of ions will be more. Sodium ions are carrying current. OH minus ions also carrying current. Among the anions which is having higher lambda m, OH minus is having higher lambda m among the anions. So after the equivalence point, do you feel lambda m increase or decrease or remain same? What do you feel after the equivalence point? Sir, one student says increases, lambda m increases. Okay. So after the equivalence point, how the lambda m is there means you are saying that increasing. Sir, okay. Now we will see what is the extent of increase here, what is the extent of increase here, that point we will see. Extent of increase. Extent of increase. Here, extent of increase here, that point we have to see. Extent of increase in both the cases, that point we will see. Extent of increase in both the cases, that point we will see. Now before equivalence point, after equivalence point, the two things we will take. Before equivalence point, after equivalence point, like that we have taken. Sir, before equivalence point, the added sodium hydroxide is completely converting into sodium acetate. Okay. After equivalence point, the added sodium hydroxide present as it is. Sir, before equivalence point, the added sodium hydroxide is completely converting into sodium acetate. After equivalence point, the added sodium hydroxide is present as it is. Okay. Now sodium acetate is a strong electrolyte. Therefore it is having higher alpha value, so ions will be more. Let us consider almost complete ionization. Sodium hydroxide also strong electrolyte, so we will consider that it is undergoing almost complete ionization. So now let us see lambda m. Here acetate ion is there, this lambda m we will see, this lambda m we will see. Both lambda m values we will compare. Lambda m values we will compare. Now see acetate ion, this lambda m, and OH minus ion, this lambda m we will see. Now think that acetate ion ionic mass will be more, OH minus ionic mass will be less. That means it is more mass, its mass is high, its mass is less. So translational motion will be low, translational motion will be high. That means it is moving faster, it is moving slower. And it is showing growth as conduction, it is not showing growth as conduction. Growth as conduction in the sense through hydrogen bonding it is carrying current, it is not having such a type of feature. So now think that which is having higher lambda m. Do you feel that lambda m of these two same? Of course not, because different anions. So lambda m will be different for these two. That means one is having higher value. Which is having higher value, do you feel? OH minus or acetate? Which is having higher lambda m value? OH minus is having higher lambda m value, or acetate ion is having higher lambda m value? You are saying that OH minus lambda m is high when compared to acetate. So you are saying lambda m of OH minus is high, lambda m of acetate is high. Now say that now equivalence point, before equivalence point on adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m goes on increasing. After the equivalence point also, on adding sodium hydroxide solution continuously, lambda m increases. But extent of increasing, how it will be there? Extent of increasing, how it will be there? What do you feel? Extent of increase, how it will be there? In the first case means here, in the second case means this. So in the first case means this one, second case means this one. What do you say? Extent of increase will be same or different? So you are saying that extent of increase will be high in second case. Extent of increase will be high in second case, you are saying. Extent of increase will be low in first case, you are saying. Therefore, how the graph will be there, you will see. How the graph will be there, we'll see. So we will go for graph. We are going for graph. In one axis, we will take lambda m. In the one axis, we are taking lambda m. We will take in one axis. In another axis, we will take volume of sodium hydroxide solution added. Volume of sodium hydroxide solution added in, we will take in another axis. Okay. In the first case, in the initially volume of sodium hydroxide added is 0. Volume of sodium hydroxide added is 0 initially. So lambda m will have some value. You are adding some more quantity of sodium hydroxide, so lambda m increases. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, lambda m increases. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, lambda m increases. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, lambda m increases. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, lambda m increases. You are adding some more sodium hydroxide, lambda m increases. That extent of increase, in this case, you have taken acetic acid in the vessel. You are going on adding sodium hydroxide solution. On continuous addition of sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m continuously increases. There is no change. Before adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m increases. After adding, before equivalence point, you are adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m increases. After the equivalence point also, you are adding sodium hydroxide solution, lambda m increases. But the extent of increase is different. Before the equivalence point, extent of increase is low. After the equivalence point, extent of increase is high. Now let us connect the points. We will get a graph. We are connecting the points in order to get the graph. We are connecting the points. Okay, we connected the points. Now you see in both cases, you see how it is there. Here lambda m increases. Here also lambda m increases. Here extent of increase is low. Here extent of increase is high. Now we want to get